Hello! Here we are going to connect two parallel lines with an S curve, also known as an OG curve. So I started out by creating a second layer, and I double clicked on it to make sure I'm working on that layer, and I put one parallel line down, and then up and to the right another line that makes those two parallel, and I want to connect those two. But I want my curve to run kind of third of the way up, not all the way, not right in the middle. So I'm going to connect them by figuring out the angle and then putting a point, and then continuing the line over to the next one. So bottom line is point A, point B. The top line is point C, point D, which I will add that in a little bit. I'm going to add a new layer, change that color, and from point B, which I will add in soon, I'm going to draw a vertical line. So it's going to be perpendicular to point B. Instead of clicking the line at the top left, I put it in the command bar. And for point C, I'm going to draw a line, same thing, perpendicular from that point. Drop that one down. Here I went back to layer 1, turn that on, and add in the letters for my points. The line on the bottom is point AB, and change that to Times New Roman. And the line at the top is point CD. And this part of the clip is a little sped up. I've made a new layer, or I'm making a new layer, which is going to be layer 3. And that color is like a magenta. And starting with point B, I'm going to create a circle. It's about the radius is 4. And then I picked the point where I want my curve to go through, and that I did the same radius. So I'm going to make another layer, just a little more red, and I'm going to do the same thing at point C. I'm going to make another circle with the same size, and that's also going to be radius of 4. And I'm also going to pick where I want the OG curve to go through, which is actually going to be the same exact as the last one. So now I have 3 circles that are the same size. So what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to use those arcs or circles to make lines that actually will be perpendicular now to BC and intersect those vertical blue lines. So I'm making another layer and kind of a teal colored layer to show that I'm going to be making new lines. That's going to start where those circles or arcs intersect, and see that ends up going through the blue line and becoming perpendicular to BC, and I repeated the same thing above. So now I'm going to label those because I should have done that before. So where that point intersects, the blue and the turquoise or teal line, I'm calling that C1. And then where that point, the blue and the turquoise line intersect off of that B, the vertical coming from B, calling that B1. So C1, B1. Okay, and clicking on the bottom layer, I'm going to click New Layer, so then that shows up right underneath. And I'm going to make this one bright green. Okay, so going back to make a circle. A circle is going to start from B1, and the radius is going to be to B. So I'm going to pick B1, and my radius is going to hit B. And you see that circle ended up hitting the point where I want my curve to go through. So where I kind of broke up that diagonal line BC. So that's good. Now I'm going to put another circle on C with C1 to the radius to C. Same thing. That circle ended up hitting that curve. Thank goodness. Yay. Okay. Next, I'm going to create another layer. And that one's going to be yellow. And this is just so I can show the curve that I've made without messing up any of the lines I used to construct it. So I'm going to type in the command line copy to layer, and I'm selecting my horizontal, my diagonal, and my last two circles that I made, so green and the white. So I copied all of that to that new layer, layer 7, and turn everything else off. Oh, and also, sorry, in the copy layer, it actually, after you select it, you type in the layer where you want everything to go, and then it asks you where you want it to move or where the origin is. So I put 0, 0, that way it lays everything exactly where it was before. So I turned everything else off. I'm in layer 7, and now I'm going and trimming all the extra. And there's the OG curve. Ta-da!